Hello, AI enthusiasts. Welcome to another episode of Disruptia podcast, where we talk about everything going on in the world of AI. So let's get into another episode. So, yeah, Will, how's your week been?
Yeah, not too bad. I just, the funniest news I think that's come out is the Allbirds pivot.
Yes,
You saw that one?
I saw that, and you know what? It's like I have a group, like a AI group that I talk things in, and I was saying that someone needs to just buy 2 or 3 old Mac Minis and launch a AI infrastructure company with a very grand plan of creating data centers and stuff in the next 5 to 10 years, and let
Yeah.
the share prices soar, and then sell out in 2 years, and nothing will happen, and that's it. I'm sure, and gamble on the stock market for the next 2 years on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's happening already. I won't be surprised. It's like half of the data centers. This is another news from last week. Half of the data centers that were kind of going to be built won't be built now in US because of the lengthy process of everything from
Yeah.
consent to all the neighbors complain that there is a too much of humming noise from their conditioning units. And then everyone in that state or in that city, they have to pay for 20-30% more for electricity bills. So of course no one personally wants it in their backyard.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of them will have a major legal battle, and that legal battle raise up costs for building those data centers. So most of them won't be built in US for a while. So yeah, people are just buying things, betting things. So yeah, I don't know if Nvidia should be scared of this new trend. So yeah, what else have you been working on over the last week or so?
Well, one thing I've started doing now is use Claude Code a lot. One of the things, probably, 50-50. Sometimes I'm actually developing apps with it. Sometimes I'm just using it for just general work. So I think, last week we talked about using it for SEO, and that's where you can create a little Node.js app.
Yeah.
When I say you create it, Claude Code creates it, and then use
Yes.
the API to do keyword research, competitor research, get insights about what keyword phrases you should be targeting, all, of course, a lot quicker than if you're just using the UI. And connected to that is just for everyday work. I don't know about you, but my experience with CRMs is
Yes.
it sounds good. You start using it for a while and then quickly you get busy, forget about it. And then suddenly you remember you got a CRM with 3 months old data. And perhaps this is just, when you're running an agency, you get busy doing various things. What I've started doing though, and it's working really well so far, is have you heard about Obsidian?
Yes, I have.
So it's quite an interesting business in
Very
itself,
small team,
which,
4 people built it or something. They make
yeah,
crazy
yeah,
bucket
less
ton of
than 10
money.
people, and they make a massive, and it's open source, and yeah.
Only
So
4 devs, actually, 4 developers in the whole team. The rest are all marketing, BD, all that stuff. But yeah, so I forgot the exact numbers on how many million they make or something. But of course, that changes day to day. But it is very successful.
it's actually got quite a unique position in its usefulness now that AI has become,
Yes.
the thing. And the way Obsidian works is it's all based on markdown files, so .md files, which are essentially just text files, which are a very simple
Yeah.
editing format. You got the pound symbol for titles or H1s, H2s, etc. Obsidian, you can link between different notes that you write, and that creates sort of, there's these sort of graph or data views of how your ideas are linking together.
Yes.
And so one thing people have done is they use that as their main notes,
Yeah.
just as you would say Apple Notes or Evernote or whatever your preferred note is. People use Obsidian, and then they can use AI to help generate insights. You can load up, you can create a skill, for example. So you
Yeah.
could set up Claude Code, and you write a skill to say load up context, and you can instruct that skill to maybe go to the data, the date entries and other, newly edited files, and then, you can brainstorm with it, you can get feedback. And so it's quite powerful. But
Yeah.
I thought what I want to share right now is not so much that angle, which is useful in itself, but you can use Obsidian as kind of as like your local personal database. So you can use AI Uh, as you go throughout the day, you've just been to a meeting, you can outline what was discussed. You're maybe looking at competitors. You can get Claude Code to do research, but basically instruct it to store all the findings, which you will interact with to dictate, what that is. And Obsidian is kind of like the database, and it will set up all the connections. I can give you an example quickly of
Yeah, please do. It's always
if
easier
I.
to stand with examples.
So this is just one.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is one I set up for Orchid, my main agency, and just as you see, it's got all these connections here,
Connections. Yes.
and I basically didn't do any of this. So if you imagine, you always have that person that manages to keep their computer in pristine, sort of organized state, so that all their folders are perfectly like named and they can find everything. And if you're like me, you don't have the time to do that, or you
Yeah.
start doing it and then you
Can't be
forget about it.
bothered. Yeah, I also can't be
So,
bothered.
but what Claude Code
Yes.
can do is basically organize your Obsidian very perfectly, all the links, all the connections. And so when you need to go back and maybe follow up with a lead, create an estimate for a job, for a meeting, it's
Yes.
got all that data it can refer back to. It's already set up the linking such that it's going to get the context pretty spot on because it's already configured those links. So this is one I've set up previously, and I thought what we could do is just briefly set up a new one.
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
quickly share my screen again so this is a brand new one. I've just called the Vault Promptables. So you can just basically create as many vaults in Obsidian as you want. And that's basically just a folder. And so this is brand new. And what I can do is I'll use the desktop app for Claude. So obviously you bring in the folder. I've already, set it up here. So it's Promptables. And the way this works, by the way, you will need to enable Obsidian CLI, command line interface.
Yes.
And that's what Claude will use to interact with it. So maybe I'll just start with say, can you see my Obsidian folder is CLI? Of course, I'll probably be using something like Whisperflow to do this, not typing it out, but that doesn't work well for a screencast. And basically, Claude Code becomes your almost like I don't know what you call it, maybe secretary on steroids or something, but you can say, I want to keep ideas here for future podcast episodes
Yeah.
and, create maybe a to-do list saying, what are your ideas? I can share them now.
Yeah, just write couple like just that Allbirds AI story, AI pivot, then Obsidian, how to use Obsidian or how you use Obsidian. MD is generally a skill file, right?
It is, I think it is used for skills, but it's essentially just a text format.
Okay.
So yeah, if I switch over back to that Obsidian, yeah. So it's very simple option here. It's got to do in progress done. So that's obviously very simple. Where the power comes though is when you start to be able to link between ideas and files. So probably a better example of this than podcast is you would basically create a CRM as you go by simply saying, whenever I mention someone or a company or a project or a product, store that in different directories with different BMD files, and then it will link to it. Then when you talk about it again, you can say, Claude Code can then pick up those links.
Yep.
So
I have
how I use it
nearly
now is you can get in the morning, you can just fire up Claude Code and just say, is there anyone that I should contact today? Or is there anyone I should follow up with? Or
nice.
what should I tackle next? And it basically becomes your memory. And I think what makes it powerful is the way the links work and that it will pick up context really well because there's always going to be a limited context window. So you need to give code helpers on how to easily connect the idea and find out the correct context.
So it's like to give an example or like, so say, how would I, I use it? I have people reaching out to me on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on 3 different emails. And every day I have so many emails to reply, follow up, communication, all that, make introductions to people who have asked for that. Hey, can you introduce me to this, this person, as well as LinkedIn and all that as well. And Twitter and 4 other social social platforms I have. So how would I connect everything? Would I have to give it access to my emails and all these different social platforms so that it can read my messages and create
Yeah. I
something?
mean, you could. I would say that would be down the line because I think
Yes.
if you go too far down the automation side, you end up not using it.
Yeah.
So it's better to start simpler and then say you're having meetings. Let's say you're having meetings with these contacts.
Yes.
How, what do you do after the meeting? Just prompts an update. Well, this is what happened in the meeting. Or, if it's on Zoom or whatever, you got the transcript, just paste the transcript in. I
Yes.
had this meeting. Please write up the notes for this and create some to-dos for it. But you're right. Eventually you could hook that up so it can read let's say your email inbox can then, with Claude Code now, you can have scheduled events. So it could go
Yes.
through, it could see what's relevant, add it to your Obsidian. But I do think, at least the way I see it, you don't want to just add everything and anything. You want to, at some point, you want to be the filter of what's important because you want to keep the context as the relevance of that context as specific as possible, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, that's right. Yeah, I completely understand. And also it's like it is challenging because some people initially start talking with me on LinkedIn, then we move to Telegram, then we move to emails because once calendar invite is booked and once we have met in person, we move to WhatsApp. So there is a lot of double up in communication and everything. So yeah, it is. I can see something like this could be helpful for a niche case like me, but for most people, it would be like note taking better than Notion, probably. I don't know. Seems like.
It's better for. I think it's basically how you work. What I find quite helpful is I don't want to spend the time organizing my notes. Like I like the idea of having really organized notes that are perfectly linked, but I'm always just gonna. I just want to open a note and just type, and so this bypasses that. Basically, Claude Code handles all the organization, and then you can just prompt it. You've got an idea for a project, you've got an idea for a podcast episode, a blog article, or like I said, using it as your CRM without really having to do a lot of work. It's simply just prompting, adding a transcript from a Zoom call. And one thing it's also good is that I'll be using it for is when we send estimates or actual quotes with user stories for development, putting that information in there so that it can refer back to that and help you with future quotes or estimates. So
Yes.
it's a way to store that. And the other advantage is it's local. It's on your machine. So
Mhm.
you're not storing it in the cloud. Yes, Claude Code is writing that. So you can argue it's not the most secure way, but it's because it's simply .md files. You're not locked into Claude Code. You're not locked into really anything.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was thinking maybe I should upload. I mean, this is a lot of work, but transcripts from 500 episodes over the last 6 years that I've done from podcasting and see what it comes back with and what insights it can find for me.
Definitely worth doing, in my opinion, because of that. What you specifically ask it to do is link up relevant ideas. And so
Yeah.
you may actually come back with quite a few connections between different ideas, different guests, different companies, different products that you
Yes.
never even saw.
Yeah, absolutely. The only problem is extracting the transcript from this many episodes, uploading it on this. It's time consuming and boring task.
Sounds like a job for an AI agent.
Yeah, or my 12-year-old.
Either or.
Yeah. So I'll share another thing. I'll give a demo next time, not this time, but basically, um, I go to a lot of crypto, finance, blockchain conferences around the world. I'm going in a week's time again. And some of these have a lot of side events. Lots, I mean, some of them have like 900 side events in 1 week. And
Yeah.
generally, how you register to them is you go to Luma and you fill out the form and you register to them. And every Luma form is different. As in, some have names, some have email addresses, some have like, it's just maybe anywhere between one click apply to 20 fields. It could be
Yeah.
anything in between. Most of them would have 5 to 6 different fields. And so till now, I used to pay my 12-year-old to go and fill out all these forms for me. Just gave him the data and just use his judgment, and I didn't care. Like for last 2 years he's been doing that for me. And I just pay him $10-20 and he was very happy to do that. And then I got him to create a thing for me. I said, you can create a software for me to fill these out, or whatever will help you do the task faster, if not completely automated. If completely automated, even better. So then he created a Chrome plugin in Claude. It took him like very, very fast. But
Yeah.
as you know, there was things, and I said that ask Claude to explain to you like each block of code, what it does, and so that you know, so debugging is easier. I mean, he has some knowledge of JavaScript and all that. So then he learned that, and including debugging and stuff, it took him like no time. It was done in a couple of hours. And I mean, the most time consuming factor of that is for Google to review it and approve it so people can download it. But in the meantime, he installed it locally and could just run it locally and stuff, and it works, and now it's approved by Google and it works. So it's great now based on the experience. And then he registered for like 30 plus events using that. It was a lot faster, but then based on that experience he realized, okay, this is needs this, that, and all that. So now he's done those changes and resubmitted again. So now just waiting for Google to review it and approve it. But yeah, it's so easy, man. It's so easy. There is like absolutely, like, this would be a SaaS product back in the days, like a small SaaS product. But now there is no point in building that SaaS company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone can do it. Absolutely anyone can do it. So, but
Yeah.
for people who want to save time, there'll be free tools. So we'll just give this away for free and let people just use it for fun, and so they can just download and use it. So yeah, so next time I'll give a demo of that and register to some events and stuff on Luma and see how that works
Yeah.
live on live. So yeah, but that's about it, and let's see what comes around in the next week. Have you got any other things to share? Otherwise, yeah.
No, I think that, yeah, it's close it off there. I think, but what you said there is just so on, on the ball with when you're developing products these days. So much
Yes.
can be done with AI.
Yeah.
Now, building a scalable product, it still requires engineering insight and all of that.
Yes.
But if you're building something for
Your own use.
you as the user or a handful of users, and there's so much you can do now yourself. I think turning it into products is still possible, but the difficulty now is distribution, branding, awareness,
Exactly right. He did
and
the
that side of.
branding and everything, of course, using like Nano Banana, and
But yeah, I
he
mean,
used
when
like
I
two,
say,
three different things, and got and he came up with something really, really cool. Um, yeah, let me just show you just a second. I'll just share my.
I mean, when I say branding, I mean the actual getting the name out there, so people know what a Loom
Yeah,
is, people know what a Zoom is.
yeah, exactly right, and that's very hard, and it doesn't have any. It's just a SEO optimized name, Luma Autofill or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nothing, not like a brand and stuff, because it takes a lifetime to build a strong brand and stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
So, but it's still good fun. It's just like an educational experience, and realizing that, okay, once you submit to Google, it might be a day, it might be 2 months. You don't know. You don't know. They say it can take, I don't know how many weeks or over a month, but they do it in like 2 or 3 days. Like, I mean, review it and approve it. However, there are things, it's a good learning experience to know that there are things that are outside of your control. It's just like, yeah, you're trying to do Facebook ads and stuff and all that. And there's all these things you have to, it's unnecessary kind of painful legacy software that you still have to use. And yeah, but yeah, all good. I was reading somewhere, I don't know if it is true, that Meta or Facebook's ad revenue in 2026 will be higher than Google's ad revenue. Is that true? Do you believe it? I don't know. I don't know.
it's been a while since I last looked at the numbers, but
Yeah, we should look at it right now.
okay, doing a
Who
perplexity.
has more revenue, Meta or Google, from ads? Whoa, look at that for 2026. Google is behind Meta. I don't know if you can see my screen share. Meta poised to surpass Google in digital ad revenue for first time.
Wow.
Who would have thought? That is Yeah, that is crazy. That's
It's so crazy how all these opinions, they change over time. Like I remember people saying how Microsoft made the right call back in the day, focus on software, don't worry about hardware. And Apple was always focus on
hardware
hardware and
and
software so you can have a, seamless
combined
experience.
ecosystem.
And over time, eventually people saw, Apple's the bigger company. Same with Facebook and Google. It's like everyone was saying, intent is so much more powerful than
Yeah.
demographic data because people who are searching, they've got buyer intent, it's so much more powerful. But the actual,
No, but now you
it's
know the
switched.
intent. If you have so much data about everyone that you know their intent
Yeah, I know, but
in a
it made
way.
sense at the time, right? You say, "Oh, I'm
Yes.
looking for a weed cutter."
Things
Well,
or
just because you want to
whatever, or
buy it.
yeah.
Whereas if someone's on browsing on Facebook and watching reels, like, how do you know they want to
Yes.
buy a weed cutter?
Yeah.
But now, they've managed the data is so effective and the way they can figure out what you want, what you're interested in. Yeah, it's switched.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. But yeah, it will be very interesting. And like, I don't know if you've been following Microsoft, their stock price is 30% down from its high or something. That was, of course, this changes every day. When you're watching this or listening to this, it might be different. However, it's partly due to ChatGPT and OpenAI investments and their Copilot and everything. Microsoft AI products not doing well because Claude
Yeah,
is eating everyone's lunch. It's like Claude, 30 million users. OpenAI over 900 million users. Still, Claude has higher revenue than
yeah, it's
OpenAI.
crazy.
Yeah, it is really real because they go for enterprise and on all developers, all the people who are building things, they're all using Claude. None of them is using OpenAI.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it's like, however, it could all be different in 6 months. It could be completely different. It could be purple, who knows, like some random thing popped out. It's like Meta's AI had so much noise that was around Meta AI, all that. And now
yeah,
it's nowhere to be seen. No one's talking about it or no one's using it. Seems like
yeah.
anyway. So yeah.
It does flip that way
Yeah.
with Gemini. Gemini's had some pretty poor results for a while, and then it was on the
Yes.
uptake. I mean, I know some people now who just use Gemini because it's essentially free. The LLM models, they just it's I mean, it's
There's
great
so
that it's
little
competitive.
difference between them.
It's
There's so
great for us
little.
because it means
Yes.
that they're incentivized to improve on them.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Well, there is this arms race going on.
Yeah,
What was I saying? Google's Nano Banana for image is the best. There
yeah,
is no other image AI that I have seen that's as good as Nano Banana. And now so many images are created with Nano Banana, and it has that AI star symbol in the bottom right. I don't know if you know those. So all the other AIs are getting trained on that. So even when other AIs create an image, like OpenAI or Claude or
yeah.
whatever you're using, it's adding that star at the bottom right. So it
That's
is
pretty
worth
funny.
having your logo in millions of images on the internet or billions of images. And then
Yeah,
every new image created will have that by default
yeah.
because that's what they are trained on. So it's very funny. But yeah, all good, all good. Cool, cool. Okay, let's catch up next week again and see what's happening in the world of AI and what you're building and everything. And yeah, let's do some more demos and stuff and show people
Cool.
how
Sounds
what
good.
we are doing. So good stuff. Because that's the last one and then 2 weeks I'm away in US. So yeah, good stuff. Cheers. Yeah, okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much for joining us today for another episode of the Disruptia podcast. As always, do not forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And please leave us a comment on what you would like to hear from us in the next episode. And see you again next week, same time, same place.